Good evening, Tampa Bay. Can't help myself. I don't know what else to do there.
You kind of warned us about that one.
I don't know. I just feel good about it. I've seen Good Morning Vietnam way too many times in my life. For those of you who are younger than me, great movie, worth a watch. But Robin Williams, one of my all-time favorites. Rest in peace. I mean, one of the greatest comedians to walk the face of this earth. That guy was incredible. So I loved watching his movies. And that was a great movie. That was like one of those ones he kind of took a detour from being funny all the time to like serious too. So it was wonderful. But that is not the topic of today's show for anybody wondering. But yeah, absolutely. Hey, first and foremost, thanks for watching. This is Tampa Talk. We talk every single Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We are so excited. We will not be having Tampa Talk on July the 4th for anybody watching. What we always ask of the viewers is we'd love to know where you're watching from, because what we've noticed is we got viewers from all over North America. Last week we had Chicago and Los Angeles and Montreal. They were from everywhere. Viewers here locally as well. So if you wouldn't mind putting that in the chat, we would love to have conversations. Also, if you have questions during the show, don't hesitate to ask those as well. We pop in those questions. We try to answer them. Keep them appropriate, y'all. I can't share them on the screen if you guys get all crazy. Trust me, people do some things, right? So just keep that in mind. So I just wanted to share that with you. Tonight, we've got an interesting show. I'm excited for it. We've got... The ladies, of course, have come with lots of local nuggets, and we can't wait to share them for you, with you. And I also want to nerd out a little bit. I've been hesitant from doing this. Anybody that's been watching for any period of time, you know that I can get a little bit deep when it comes to numbers. But I think it's important, especially right now. We just had the Fed pause. That was the promise of the video here. We had a Fed pause, and I want to talk about what that potentially could mean to you if you're considering moving, whether that's selling here locally and buying or relocating from another area, which a lot of you are watching from different areas. So we'd love to get into the nitty gritty there. If you'll indulge me, I promise I'll try to keep it from going too far off the road here, and it will be worth your time. It'll be news you can use, so to speak, right? So we'll get into that. Let's check out where people are watching from. Denise, what's up? She said, hi, Juan and Stacy. We just saw Denise the other day. It was awesome to meet you, Denise. Thank you for watching. We appreciate that. We got Gary watching from Pennsylvania. What's up, Gary? Lots of Pennsylvania people checking out Tampa, y'all. I want to make sure that it's known. And I do have great referral agents up there, FYI, especially Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. I know some great agents. We've done a lot of referral business back the other way. So if you need those people, just let them know. We've got Missy up in Fredericksburg, Virginia. She is that we know very well. Great people, y'all. If you're in that Fredericksburg, Northern Virginia area over there, like, she's got you covered. She's incredible. We've got Nicole watching from Georgia. Good evening, Nicole. Love that. Mr. Derek is watching locally here in Tampa. What's up, Derek? Oh, man. Everybody's popping in tonight. We've got Alyssa watching from Ontario, Canada. Where in Ontario? That's like saying somewhere in Florida. Ontario's not small, right? So we'd love to know. If you don't want to share, that's totally fine too. Michael says, Connecticut. What's up, Connecticut? Got Mo's back in the house. 80 today. Nice, Mo. You were struggling last week in Chicago in the 60s. That didn't make any sense to me, man. That's crazy. We got Fanny from Arizona moving in 2 weeks. We are excited for you. Love it. Everyday Shapes, New York here. What's up, New York? Love it. Who else? Everybody's popping in tonight. Where is Port Hope. Okay. Now, I'm not familiar with that. Hamilton, like, I know Windsor, being from Detroit, that was common to me. Hamilton area. I know Toronto, obviously, but I've never heard of that. So I will have to ask my people in the morning what's going on up there. Excited for it. Chuck says, moving up that way from Bradenton, still need 15 to 20 minutes South Tampa. Suggestions. Ooh. Need to be 15. Yeah, I mean, South Tampa is great. But if you're not going to be in South Tampa specifically, on the east side of St. Pete, you can make that bridge over the jump over the bridge pretty quick. You can definitely be in that West Chase, Carrollwood, Tampa Heights is a great, potential area. Depends on what you're looking for specifically, Chuck. Love to have deeper conversation if you're interested. Our contact information is listed down below, my man. You got it. Zach's watching from Seattle. What's up, Zach? Love that. And it's Lessa says it's an hour east of Toronto. Okay, got it. I've never been that far east. That would explain why I wasn't familiar with that. But thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Zach said he's from Seattle. We have one more in here. Any inputs on school in Newport Richey, Trinity, Wesley Chapel? Luke and Rita here from New York. What's up, Luca and Rita? Yeah, you know what? Let's get into this question a little bit later. I definitely would. I'm open to getting this direction. The one thing that I'll say about schools, y'all, just so everybody knows, we're not allowed to tell you whether a school is good or not because we hold a real estate license. They put handcuffs on us. If I didn't have that license, I could share all kinds of colorful perspective about how I feel about certain schools. But I have to be very diplomatic about how I approach that. So what I always tell everybody is there's a couple really good resources, and we'll put those in the chat for y'all so you can grab them. Greatschools.org is a good resource. Okay, I won't say it's the best. It's a good resource. Public School Review, that's another good resource. Just be mindful that those things can also be like Yelp. And what I mean by that is, has anybody ever seen that episode? I think it was like South Park where there's the Yelper. They come in and they flex their, I'm a Yelper, right? Like they're basically threatening people. And I think we all know that typically the people who are most passionate about things are the loudest. And it's not usually the good kind. And what I mean by that is like, how many times have you had a good restaurant experience and you've gone out of your way to tell the management that the experience was great? You might have told the server, but did you tell the management? But if you have a poor restaurant experience, you're pretty likely to go have that conversation, right? So just keep that in mind, and when you go look at those things. But we're more than willing to get into some of that stuff. And just on the top line, Wesley Chapel does have higher rated schools than the other areas mentioned so far. Okay, so that is public information, just for perspective on that. Awesome. All right, so let's get into this tonight, y'all. Ladies, what I want to do is let's sandwich this tonight. Let's get into some things, some cool things happening in the area here. We'll kind of bounce it back and forth. So what I'd love to do is let's start with Marcia. Marcia, talk to me. I know we were talking golfing today, and 'tis the season, right? For golfers, especially if you're in the north or out west. This is a great time of the year to be out golfing, right? So let's talk a little bit about the golf, and then we'll get into some numbers from there, and then bounce it over to Stacy, and we'll keep moving it back and forth. So let's talk about golfing. Talk to me. I'm a dad. It was Father's Day. Shout out to fathers out there, by the way. If you're a dad, we appreciate you. Hopefully, if you're a golfer, you got some time out on the course. So talk to me. What's going on in the golf?
Well, I learned a lot about golfing and looking into this. My husband's a golfer, so I know a little bit about it, but I learned that there's over 1,100 courses in Florida and 48 million rounds of golf played here annually.
Is that the most? Do you know if that's the most in the country?
I don't know that, but
this is info we need to find out. I'm guessing we're probably one of the top in terms of the amount of courses in the country, right? Just because the size of the state. But I wonder how many
play year round.
Yeah, exactly. So I wonder how many rounds are actually played. So great question. So what resource did you have for those golfers in our life, Marcia?
Well, I looked into my area, Manatee County and Sarasota County. They both have over 25 courses in each county. They each have a few municipal courses, which means either the city or the county own those courses, and they'd be considered public courses. So I found out about a really cool app called Golf Now, and it's super cool because you upload it on your phone, and you put in the area you're in, the date you want to golf, and how many golfers you have. And then it will tell you all the deals for the day, like the tee times and the golf courses. They rate the golf courses, so you get all this information. You pay for it right on the app so that when you get to the golf course, all you do is go to play. You don't have to check in and pay and all that. So I thought that was a really cool app. And I know my husband uses it just to check and see what the deals are for the day if he decides he just wants to go and golf for a little while. The other thing that it does is it tells you the hot deals in the area. It has reviews on the golf courses, and also talks about golf courses near you. So if you put in a zip code or an area, it will list off all your choices.
Yep, I see that here. All right, that's cool. So when you go into the search bar up here, you can type in an address, post, zip code or whatever.
Yeah,
I like this too. Best courses. That's really cool. I did not know this existed. So I think this is a sweet little nugget, y'all.
Yeah.
This is national, right? Like this what, because
Yeah.
this is all right. So you can use this anywhere in the country. I wonder if it works in Canada too. Because that's a really cool.
I would assume it would, but
yeah, that's awesome.
It's great, especially if you're, if you're a member at a course and you're not going to be looking for the deals in other places. But if you don't belong to a course, or you want to try something different or new, or in a different area, or different state, and you want to find out what's available, it's a really good resource.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Okay, that's a really cool resource. What else you got?
I found out about a card. It's called the Big Summer Golf Card, and to my knowledge, that is in Florida. It's in this area. It's $60 to get the card, and they did offer a discount for $40 to purchase it. And then they state that you save up to 20% on golfing fees and your cart fees and all that. They give you a daily play and green fees and cart fees that you can look up, and it's just a way to save money and find out information on golfing in your area here in Florida.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. We'll put that in the chat and the description of the YouTube video, y'all. So that we'll drop that in there if you want to go check that out later, because I think that's great. We'll also put the links to everything we show tonight, just so you guys know if you want to go back to those resources, they're there. I don't always remember every single resource we talk about, but the ones that we show on screen, those are easy to remember. So we'll make sure we share those with you.
I'll mark so I remind you.
Perfect.
So while I was looking into golf courses, I always wondered what the difference is. You hear public courses, private courses, semi-private courses. So I looked into that a little bit more. Public courses are very affordable, but they're also really busy. So it's the cheapest way to go out and golfing, but it's usually beginners that use it. And then once they get good, they want a little bit nicer courses. So then you have a choice between a private course and a semi-private. The private ones, of course, you're paying for the privileges of being in a private course. So it's not crowded, it has pristine greens, it's got the refined dining, their customer service is over the top, and it's usually got a 5-star rating for amenities. So it's wonderful to have the membership, but it's very costly. So that's usually the reason people wouldn't join a membership like that, because of how much they can cost. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases. And then you'd also have a monthly fee. So what they call a hybrid is the semi-private, and those are a combination of public and membership. People that belong to it. So it is open to the public, but the members get priority over tee times, and they get reduced green fees, things like that. And that is what they recommended. It would be the best way to go for most people, is the semi-private. There's places like that here in this area, just even in communities. I know at Azario in Lakewood Ranch, it is if you buy a home in their golf course home section, you're a member. So there are memberships, but it is open to the public for now anyways.
It's a beautiful community over there too. Like yeah, sorry to interrupt. That's a beautiful community over there as well.
Oh yeah.
Taylor Morrison's one of the builders. Who else is over there? Do you remember?
It's all Taylor Morrison, because it's an Esplanade property.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Gorgeous homes over there. $1 million range. Just FYI for anybody listening who's interested. $1 million range ish. I want to use that term loosely.
I was just there Saturday with a client, and for like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot home would be in the 8s.
That's
800,000.
The starting price.
Yeah. And their monthly fees are pretty pricey, but the amenities are phenomenal. They have they're building a culinary building there that I don't remember the square footage, but it's huge.
Yeah, I saw that too. Like you can go in and they'll teach cooking classes in there,
Yes.
and it's obviously a place where you can go and dine and that type of experience as well. I
Yeah.
love that. Like that's great. I just want to make a note on that. Marcia was talking about, you know, they're starting from eights. Like a lot of the time these lot premiums can be as much as, you know, $100,000. So I just want to give everybody perspective on that. And with builders, especially like Taylor Morrison, they require you to spend X amount of dollars at the design center, just like the pro shops at the golf courses, the memberships. They also require you to do some of that. So be mindful of that. There's usually with those builders in that tier, you're going to be in for another 200 grand on average on top of whatever the base price is of the house. And that base price doesn't typically include things like the bonus area that they show in the model. So if they have like, if it's a flex space on top, like it's a story and a half, that's going to be extra as well. So just kind of keep that in mind, guys, is if you're listening to this conversation and interested in new construction, it's just a little bit different. When you approach it, those are the mid-tier builders, not the full custom. They're considered semi-custom. I think that we're using that term very liberal because being able to pick my floor, and 3 of my fixtures in my house, that is in no way, shape, or form custom to me. But hey, this is the world we live in now, right? And how things go. But
they have had to get less creative, I think, since COVID and supply and being able to keep up. But I tell you, they do an awesome job. The sales agent there showed us the spa area building they have. They have a meditation room. They have an on-site hair salon. You can get your nails done. They have massages, facials, all this different. It was amazing. I was ready to move in.
I'll move in with you. We'll be roommates.
That's saying a lot considering you live on a lagoon and you have direct boat access to the river. So that's saying a lot, right? To get you going on that. That's great.
It's gorgeous. I think Taylor Morrison does an awesome job at their communities with amenities, especially. So
they do. They build a quality product, and the amenities in the neighborhoods are always they just do a really nice job. But I mean, again, it's not for everybody in terms of pricing, so just give some perspective on that. But it is a great quality builder. We would consider them mid-tier, right? So just in terms of like how we look at things here. Great builder on that end. And speaking of which, just talking about communities overall, Marcia, I think you were talking a little bit about North River Ranch as well, correct?
Oh, yeah. I love Parrish and the North River Ranch area. Just to give you an idea where Parrish is, and Juan and I have done a video on Parrish before, so you'll have to check that out. But it's just north of the Manatee River in Manatee County. It sits between Tampa and Bradenton, and it's right over the river from me. It's 19 miles from the beach. So that means probably about 35 to 40 minutes from the beach. It's 4 miles to I-75, or North River Ranch is, which is the area I'm going to be talking about. So it's close to I-75, which makes it really convenient to head up to Tampa. Like the Tampa airport is 45 minutes away, and the Sarasota airport is 30 minutes away. So it's right kind of
in the middle.
Too. Yeah. So it's a great location for people that have to travel up to St. Peter, Tampa for work, but want to take advantage of the cost of living in Parrish. It's up and coming, so you can still get a pretty good deal when you move into that area. The median sales price right now is $445 for a single family home. So it's still, way below. If you're looking for an area like Bradenton or Lakewood Ranch, Parrish, get you into the area at a lower cost, but you still get to take advantage of all the amenities close by.
Marcia, what does it really cost? We talk about, and I'm sharing this with you guys, the audience right now, because we talk about median and average all the time. And we always like to make sure that we're giving you guys real perspective. What should someone actually expect to pay if they're building a new home or a newer home over in Parrish? Like, what is that average they should expect?
In the fives, I would say like 525 area.
Yep.
Be
I
a
think
good,
that's fair. Somewhere
good
between
start.
5 and 550 on average. You can
Yeah.
get them lower, like she was saying. They're there, y'all. But we just always like to. But we were trying to be real with everybody, right? Like we're not selling. We're not the ones with starting from prices. We're the ones that have to deal in reality with you. So we always like to share that perspective with everyone. But yeah, North River Ranch, great area. We did do a video specifically on Parrish, and we featured North River Ranch. So if you want to check that out on the YouTube channel, you can go back and check that out. It's a good one.
Yeah, so North River Branch is a master plan community, and we talk about them a lot because they're popular in Florida, and it's so wonderful how they set up the community for your lifestyle. So North River Ranch is really big on the outdoors and green space. They have 2,600 acres, and they're going to have 6,000 homes. Currently, they have approximately 1,400. And I think they said they had 18 model homes. So you can go, they have 6 different builders in there. So you have a lot of choice on style, on cost, on amenities, although the amenities in North River Ranch are all shared. So unlike Lakewood Ranch, where each community has their own amenities, North River Ranch is builders and homes combined. The builders will take a section and build maybe on 2 or 3 streets, and then the next section is another builder. So it's not apart from each other. This is a great way to look at it, this map here. So as an example, Homes by West Bay is that pinkish area on the left. I don't know if you can point to it, Juan, but
I'll get it.
but right above it, you can see is another builder right above it. So it's just a street over. So they share amenities throughout the community. Right now they have, let me see, 2 pools, and they're going to have 3, and they're also going to have 3 clubhouse and community centers. And the other cool thing that they're putting in, which is shown on this map, is the HCA healthcare. It's a hospital that's going to have over 150 beds. It'll have an emergency room and an acute care section. They already have their own high school and elementary school, and their plans for building a middle school and a college. I think it's state of Florida college.
And the Publix is literally right at the end of the neighborhood there, y'all. Let me zoom in a little bit more. But
yeah,
Publix is right here. I mean, it's you walk down the street. North River Ranch, when we did that video, when you're looking at it, it's this neighborhood here. You literally walk down the street, and the elementary school is at the bottom of the neighborhood, and they're building another school inside of the actual community here.
It's further north. If you go up a little ways, it shows it in. It's still a little bit further north. It's not showing, but
no, the community map's cutting off here now.
Okay. Well, it's right in the community in the north section, the middle school. And they're also building the biggest amenity centers called Canoe Creek, or Camp Creek.
Right here.
And that's a huge community center and pool area. Mm-hmm. Something that they really do that I think super cool here is they have bicycle stations, and you can just borrow the bicycle and then ride it to another station and leave it there or bring it back to where you started. So I thought that was a really cool idea. They're wanting people to either be able to walk or ride their bikes to Publix and the village center where the hospital is going to be. There's going to be a lot of shopping areas and restaurants and stuff. So they want people to be able to either walk or ride their bikes there.
Yep. And the home builders over there, for y'all looking at the map here. So there's some really good builders over here. You got Park Square Homes by West Bay. We've got our second client moving into Homes by West Bay right now. Beautiful. They do a really nice job as well. We would consider them into that mid-tier also, along with Taylor Morrison. I think it's one of the best values per dollar. That's just my perspective on what's going on there. KB Homes, Pulte Homes is in there as well. David Weekley, Cardell, Neal, just to name a few, is what's going on in the community there. So plenty of opportunity from the home builder's perspective on there. Most of the homes in there are less than 2 years old, I believe.
Yeah. Something I really like about North River Ranch, too, is I'm helping a client right now who is moving down from New York. and they want their in-laws to be able to live in the same community, but their price range is different. But in North River Ranch, that works out just fine because of the different builders in the same community. So they may live 1 or 2 streets over, but a different price range home. And, it'll be great for the family to be so close to each other. So there's a lot of really good assets to living in North River Ranch. And I think it's a great place for young families. They're also building the Del Webb right up the street from there.
Yep.
I think it's like 1.5 miles towards I-75. So that's another option for 55 plus people. You could still live close to your family if they were North River Ranch, but be in your own 55 plus community.
Yeah, these master plan communities, guys, for those of you who are not familiar with that, like, it was new to me too. When I moved from Detroit to Florida, like, we didn't have master plan communities. Like, we had subdivisions, but but there weren't master plan communities with all these amenities built that, they were basically just throwing up another new subdivision wherever there was space. And then whatever city amenities you had access to, that was it. But down here, they're truly designing these communities before they ever lay a brick. Right. So the hospital was in the plans. Publix was in the plans. They add things, they hold space for it, but they have a plan for the community members, that's the thing I really love about these. They do have HOAs associated with them. Some of them are more strict than others. It's going to be specific to the community. Just know that. But for the most part, these things are pretty well designed, and I don't find them overly restrictive so far from what I've seen on the HOA. So just want to give a little bit of insights on that. But these communities overall are pretty beautiful. We talk about Lakewood Ranch quite often. Parish is, doing its best to try to, grab some market share of that as well. So, the price point is significantly lower in Parish compared to Lakewood Ranch. So that's why you're seeing that giant influx over there. But these are great shares, Marcia. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We appreciate that. All right, let's get into some comments here real quick. I noticed Gary chimed in. He said you got the golf on Father's Day with your son-in-law. That's awesome, man. Oh, and it was your birthday. Happy birthday, my man. Congratulations. Appreciate that. Michael asks, from the perspective of a local, how would you describe Wesley Chapel versus Land O'Lakes versus Odessa, with the exception of Wesley Chapel having what appears to be the most amenities? That's a great question. Stacy, since you are a Pasco County expert and a former Wesley Chapel resident, and living in Dade City there, like, how would you explain the three of those?
Yeah, Wesley Chapel has the majority of the retail and commercial space. I think Land O'Lakes is a little more spread out, but there's a lot of new building going on out there. So I think in the next 5 to 10 years, all that Wesley Chapel is going to extend out into Land O'Lakes. So there's going to be a lot more amenities that will be convenient for them. In Odessa, I feel like it's just not as crowded. It's just more, a lot more green space, I guess. And I don't know how else to describe it.
So he asked a follow-up question, which is great, Michael. I'm going to share the screen here in a second. You ask a follow-up question, Michael, that I can't answer. But let me, I most certainly can't put on the screen either. And not that I'm opposed to helping, but I want to give you perspective. So, like, the way to kind of look at these communities is these are all at the south end of Pasco County on the border of Hillsborough County, which is where Tampa proper is. So most of these cities give you access to downtown Tampa anywhere from 30 minutes to as much as 55 minutes. Okay, with traffic and everything else, just giving a little bit of perspective on there. Okay, Odessa is, to Stacy's point, is definitely not built up as much. It gets you closer to the beaches, which is really nice, and that's why that community is pretty nice. They have quite a few amenities, but to drive back to Tampa Premium Outlets from Odessa can be as much as 30 minutes with traffic and everything. So it's not far if you're on the east east edge of Odessa, you can be to those amenities in 15 or 20 minutes with traffic, but it can get a little bit further. But you get the beach, but it also keeps you close to Tampa because you have Veteran Memorial Highway running right through it. So it's direct access back into the city and Tampa International Airport. It's like 25 minutes max. It's great. Great area. Now, the housing values in Odessa are more. So the median price, the average price is what I'm going to use, is definitely more than Land O'Lakes or Wesley Chapel. The schools are rated higher currently as well. That shifts all the time. See the charts, do your own research on that. But those are the things. It doesn't have as much. The thing I like about Odessa, what I found so far from my time out there shooting these videos for you guys, and we have videos on all three of these cities, so you can go check those out. Odessa feels to me like they did a very good job of building the new homes and these new communities into the green space that already existed. That is to me, I feel that in Odessa more than anything else. I feel very connected to all of the beautiful green spaces around me. There are so many gorgeous ponds and green space areas and all these beautiful old growth oak trees out there. It's just it feels like it's been there a very long time, which is hard to do, right? Like, would you agree with that sentiment, Stacy? Like,
yeah, totally.
The way it feels there. And then Land O'Lakes, that had more people in it in the 70s and 80s. So when you're on the main thoroughfare in Land O'Lakes, things are a little bit older. You have buildings that were built in the 70s and 80s. There's some beautiful areas in there, and they have really highly rated schools in Land O'Lakes. FYI, there's very high rated schools in Land O'Lakes, but the main drag kind of feels a little bit older to me, right? I want to say worn out, but it can feel that way. Okay, so like, just it depends on your personal perspective. My personal perspective is when I'm looking at everything around new, it just feels older there. Okay, again, still a strong community, lots of value there. And then Wesley Chapel is the build it and they will come. That is essentially what I think Wesley Chapel is. They've provided every single amenity you could ever think of, and every reason to come live there. And it's very hard to turn down all of the conveniences of Wesley Chapel. And they have some good rated schools there, and they're continuing to grow and attract great people to that area. So like, all of them are desirable. All of them have good real estate values. All of them have opportunity for good education. So I think that hopefully that helps, Michael. Doing the best I can there, giving some guidance, towing the line the best I possibly can, right? Chuck says River Strand is a great golf community. Awesome, Chuck. Thanks for chiming in on that. Appreciate it. Kevin, Kevin, you're a normal viewer here, my man. We appreciate the viewership there. Kevin's out in Lakeland, my man. What's going on? And then Michael said, excellent. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. So always try to help where we can. And now that we're up in Pasco County, we might as well just hand it off to Miss the lovely and talented Stacy. And Stacy's got some cool things popping out there. Let's get into what you got going on.
Well, it's summertime, and parents are always relieved for the end of the school year, but it can be a little stressful because what are we going to do with these kids? Like, we like to have them home. We do. But if you're a working parent or you're working from home or even a stay-at-home mom, I mean, we got to have something to do with these kids. So I was looking, but I came across this really cool program that Pasco County Parks and Recreation has for really, it's a family program. It's called Pasco Outdoor Adventure Program. And it's a family-friendly program for all ages that encourages you to experience outdoor recreation. And they even provide the equipment for you. So you don't have to go out and spend money on a kayak and then find out you don't like kayaking. So I thought that was pretty awesome. They have a summer challenge going on right now called Blazing Hot Summer Challenge, and they are challenging residents to complete 75 miles of any combination of biking, hiking, paddling, or swimming.
Wow.
So you can go to the different parks within the county and complete one of the challenges. They give you, once you register, which is only like $21 to register, which I thought was great. You have to fill out this tracker thing, post it on their Facebook group page, and there's a hashtag Blazing Hot Pasco. But I thought that was really cool. So they have archery, arts and crafts, camping. They have a campfire program, fishing, hiking, kayaking, mountain biking,
So
nature photography.
I'm laughing because we're using the term hiking loosely here in Florida, right? The rest of this I can get down with, but listen, y'all, I'm gonna call a spade, right? Like hiking in Florida, we make the joke often, right? But like we don't have hills here. Now there is over a 2,000 acre nature preserve north of Odessa. There's some beautiful area up there that you can go hike. Elevation is not, you're not going to be fighting a whole lot of elevation is my point here, right? So like when you come to Florida, don't expect that. The Florida hills we have, those are called overpasses. Those are the largest hills we have in the state. Okay. So just want to give some perspective on that. Back to you.
Well, I was just blown away by how much the Pasco County Parks and Recreation offers. I had no idea that, for one, that this program existed, but also that they offer so many different kind of camps for the youth. They have day camps that they're not overnight camps, but they're 3-day camps. But they can do kayaking and snorkeling. There's a kayaking and fishing camp.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
This is an awesome resource, y'all. Like I got three little feral savages. Those are my children, for those of you who don't know. We love them. Just kidding. But like, this is great to have a resource where you can go and look at like, hey, here are the things. And on here, and I know that this is small font, so I just want to help everybody here, right? Stacy, can you see that okay? So we got cheer camps. Go ahead. Let them know what's on here.
Well, they also have like an outdoor adventure camp where it's a water-based education, where they're teaching the kids about the importance of keeping the waterways clean, educating them on how our waterways are connected. And they do an outreach program at the Florida Aquarium, and they have a field trip to the Crystal Springs Preserve, which I've been there several times on field trips with one of my kids. And being from up north and coming down here and not being very familiar with the wildlife, I found it very educational to learn about the gators and snakes. So, because I was scared when I came down here. I like walked in the middle of the road. I was scared to walk on the sidewalk.
And here's the great news, y'all. She's still here.
Yes.
She has survived. How long has it been now?
9 years.
So you're an antique in the Florida relocation world, right? Like, and she's still here. You still have all your appendages. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
Do you still have all the animals that you've ever brought in your house?
Yes.
There you go.
You still walk in the middle of the road?
No, I do take the sidewalk now. But what's funny is when I do see a snake, I'm like, oh, is that a black snake? Oh, we're good. Black snakes are good. We want them around. We're good. We're cool. I don't scream and run in the house anymore. Yeah, but anyways, back to the camps. I was just blown away with how much that they had to offer. Like, I had no idea. And something else I found that I was really excited about is that they have a program called PAIR, and it stands for Pasco Adaptive Inclusive Recreation, and it's for children on the autism spectrum or kids with special needs. And so it's designed to accommodate campers who may not otherwise thrive in a traditional camp setting.
And look at the cost, right? So like, that's the one thing. It's a little bit smaller, guys, but they have all those other opportunities for all the other kids. And, you know, a 3-day sports camp, it goes up to like $250 on here, which is more than fair if you're going to stick your kids somewhere and get them coached for 3 days. $0. Wheelchair basketball costs $5.15. And then Epic Summer Camp is $0. So not only do they have these programs, but essentially they're at no cost to the families. So I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And they also had stuff for all ages, even like little toddlers. So it was really cool.
Yeah, that's great. Wiregrass Ranch Complex here. I love this. Like we did in our last Wesley Chapel video, we featured Wiregrass Ranch out there. Beautiful facility. I mean, they're so smart. They built this huge sports complex and then put 3 hotels on the grounds. And one of the hotels has a balcony where they have a bar and restaurant up top. So you can look over. I can't remember what it was called, but like it's so you can look down. The skybox. That's right. So you can look down at the kids playing soccer on the field outside, which is awesome. Thought that was really cool. But just to give you guys some insights, I know these prices are a little bit tough to see, but cheer camps they range from $41, go all the way up to $250. Basketball, and these are how many they have in here as well. So there's 3 different camps. They've got basketball camps and clinics. Those range from $120 to as much as $335 roughly. Volleyball camps as well. Mini club, 12 weeks, 2 times a week. Well, that's good for $500. So that's actually really fair when you consider, what's going on there. Development volleyball, $250. Just giving you guys some insights as to what these prices are. And then sports performance, private training, challenge camp, youth camp. Those range anywhere from looks like $180 to as much as $824 roughly. So just to give some perspective. I realize that's not cheap. Nothing ever is anymore. But it is I love this website. I think it's fantastic that the county, again, Pasco County is trying to become like, they want to be the place to be. And they're doing a really good job of managing that. So I love it. Awesome.
Yeah. And they just don't have sports stuff. They have like dance and karate and Tai Chi. I mean, they have aerobics and yoga, which yoga is for $10. It was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They have all kinds of things for adults too. They haven't forgotten about adults. So they have Zumba. They have softball leagues for adults, basketball leagues. They even have paper crafting.
They got it all, y'all. If you want,
yes, that's a thing.
Something there for you, right? You origami classes or something. That's cool.
And what I also thought was cute is they had the Recreate Your Mind. So they had meditation programs where it's called puppy meditation. So they have therapy puppies running around while you're meditating.
Awesome.
And I'm a dog person, so I would totally do that.
That's great.
And kitten yoga. Didn't know that was a thing either. I learned so much today about Pasco County.
Well, y'all have that goat farm up in that's up in Wesley Chapel, right on the Land O'Lakes border over there. There's a goat farm where you can go do goat yoga. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it up and share it with you. When I was doing research one day, I'm like, this is interesting. I drove over there. It looks like a goat farm. That's the best way I can explain it. I was like, yeah, this looks like a goat farm.
That would not be very relaxing for me.
Yeah, that's not my thing, but people dig
running
it.
around. Yeah,
people dig it, man. That's an Instagram worthy shot waiting to happen. That's what people. That's the only reason you're going to goat yoga, because you want to put it on the gram. You want to flex your gram, like make it happen.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's right. I get it. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I know, forgive me, y'all, because we did not do the introduction today. I know if you're still here, you're like, who in the heck are these people? But we are the True Living Group here. We are a bunch of real estate agents who love serving people just like you who buy, sell, relocate, or invest here in the Tampa Bay area. I've got lovely Stacy Amon, who is up in Pasco County. She serves our Pasco County and Northern Tampa areas. I live in Pinellas County, right by the Gulf beaches. I'm sandwiched right directly in between Clearwater Beach and St. Petersburg Beach, or I'm sorry, St. Pete Beach for those of you that are local. So I serve Pinellas County, and then Marcia lives in Bradenton, and she serves the Bradenton, Sarasota area. So we are here to help. No matter where you're looking in the Tampa Bay area, we got you covered. We'll go as far east as roughly Lakeland. After that, we tend to hand you off to our referral partners in case if you need somebody in Cape Coral or Jacksonville or Miami or any other area in the state, don't hesitate to reach out. And as a matter of fact, if you're moving from a different area, reach out to us because we actually have a huge network of real estate agents that we do referrals with all over the country. As I discussed earlier, we've got people in Pennsylvania, everywhere, even in Toronto. I literally have agents. I do know that there's like 1.6 million agents in Toronto. I don't know that many. I've got some good ones. But yeah, we're here to serve. So the intent of this show is to bring local information to people who are both local and maybe considering moving to the area, so you can just get some local insights as to what's going on, what's available to you, what's happening in our own backyard. And we actually enjoy this. This homework keeps us sharp and insightful, and it teaches us things about our own our own communities, because I don't know about you, but most people don't know everything that's going on in their backyard. Right? We get in our own kind of little bubble and we ride it out and we do our thing. And, every time we experience something new that's exciting, we love it. So what we're doing is we're sharing it back with you guys. And we hope that you get value. If you are getting value, we would love to know that in the chat. And also, if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button, that would be incredible. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but you do have the opportunity to fix that. You can just hit the subscribe button while you're down there. So appreciate doing that. And what we typically do is we talk about some real estate as well. We do talk about some of these communities. They're great. Today, I want to get a little bit deeper into numbers because last Wednesday, we got word that the Federal Reserve was going to decide and put a pause on raising interest rates. The applause noise, where is it? We need the applause noise because it is like, holy cow, right? The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates for 10 consecutive meetings. And it just felt like, I don't know about you ladies, but it felt like every time I knew they were meeting, I'm like, I felt like a punching bag. I'm like, here we go again, right? Like, can't wait to hear what you got today, right? Like, you got one tool. That's all that guy has. He's got one tool. Is I'm going to hit you with the interest rate hammer. That's what he's been doing, right? And for anybody who has been in the real estate market, buying a home or selling it, you're looking at this going, what in the world? Because mortgage payments have literally doubled in the last year. It's been nuts, right? People have been going from 3%. We have clients that have sub 3% interest rates, 2.75. I heard as low as like 2.45 at one point. That was refi, but that is ridiculous, right? And now the daily rate's around 7%. And that's assuming that you're a top tier citizen, meaning that you have very low debt and you've got good income and you've got great credit. And for all the rest of us heathens, we're up against the big numbers, right? So, and the ladies and I focus on these numbers every single day. We talk about them every week in our team meetings on Tuesday. And today I just wanted to share some insights that you can actually use. I'm going to try to distill this information down to something that is applicable to you, because I think it's very important to take note that they did not raise rates. And I want to talk about why. Okay. I want to talk about the opportunity that I think is here from it, and also the challenges that are most likely to happen. Because just because they didn't raise interest rates doesn't mean they're not going to do anymore. Okay. So I just want to to start the conversation with that, just give a little frame of reference on like why I think this is important to our show here and why it matters to you more importantly. So when it comes to, this is the headlines, right? Federal Reserve holds off on rate hikes, but says 2 more are likely coming later this year. Okay. So that's the thing I want you to take note of. The Fed is going to pause here on raising interest rates currently. They decided not to. So this is the 11th meeting. And it was expected that they were going to pause, actually. The inflation has been cooling, which is what they were trying to accomplish with raising the interest rates. I don't feel that in my wallet. Maybe you do. But again, that's a lagging indicator. So we're going to go through this together. But here's what I will say. The current inflation rate is still 4%. The Federal Reserve has targeted 2% as their key rate that they want that to be at. We're not at 2%. So that is why you're seeing, okay, we're seeing it trend down. So the prudent thing to do right now for the Federal Reserve, what they're saying is it's time for us to watch and see what happens next, right? Because Jobs numbers actually went up. We talked about this a little bit before. Jobs are only going up in service sectors. They're going down in the tech sector, which is one of the highest incomes. So you're in this weird world of what's happening over there. But this is important to you, and I want you to understand why. The Federal Reserve has decided to pause raising interest rates. So in theory, now I'm giving this as a theory. In theory, mortgage rates should kind of hold steady in where they are. The Federal Reserve does not control mortgage interest rates. They control the overnight rate, right? But if you've been on this planet for more than 20 years and you've ever purchased a home, you know that these things are directly correlated, right? So like one affects the other. The Fed's prime rate, you can assume that the mortgage rate is going to fall somewhere near in line with that. So what we've got here is we've got basically a 6-week window right now where interest rates can still fluctuate because, again, they're not directly tied to that Fed fund rate, but we're in a holding pattern where most likely the interest rates are going to hover right around where they are now. If the Federal Reserve starts to raise rates again, a quarter point, and a few of the Feds, right, because it's not just Jerome Powell, it's the collective group. A few of them indicated that they still want to go up another 1 full percentage point over where they are right now. Y'all, I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in an 8% interest rate on my mortgage, or an 8.5%, or whatever that's going to end up being. So I'm sharing this with you now because if you've been on the fence about purchasing a home, right, this might be a very good time to do it because you're getting a pause and they are expected to continue to raise rates. I don't know when. It may be in that August meeting. It may not. Okay. So like, we don't know that. We don't have an answer for it yet, but we're rolling the dice otherwise. So I wanted to just kind of give that a little perspective there on, there is an opportunity here. Okay. Because for the foreseeable future, this is the interest rate environment that we're going to, it appears that we're going to be operating in, right? I'm not going to operate on absolutes here because the world can change pretty quickly, as we're all aware. But I want to talk about the other things that matter regarding this topic. Okay. So I've talked a little bit about this before, but I want to get into this again. So bear with me. So I've talked about real estate cycles. This is a great article. It's an attorney who wrote this up, but it's beautifully written. I've held on to this article. It's incredible. And it talks about the real estate cycle and what it means in a post-pandemic market. But this real estate cycle is not new. Okay. This is the way that real estate works. We operate on a supply and demand, just like our economy does. And right now we're in this weird spot where prices are increasing at the same time interest rates are. And people were saying, like myself, were saying that's what was going to happen. And there were people, and still are people, who would like to call me crazy. Now I have a full 1.5 years worth of data that backs up that argument. Doesn't make me a genius. I'm just looking at numbers and sharing them with you guys. I look at this stuff every day. And the main reason I felt confident in that is because I understand how the cycle works of real estate. Blessed enough, this is going to be my 11th year going into the practice here, but I've lived through a cycle before. And I remember quite clearly what it was like to sell $36,000 foreclosures in Detroit. I still remember that to this day, right? But that market was so different. And I'm going to explain why here in a second. And I want to grab this little snippet. This whole article is wonderful, but this is a valuable point, and it's going to help you better understand why prices are going up and interest rates are too, because that is not the way it's supposed to work, right? If interest rates keep rising, prices are supposed to go down. But the problem is we don't have any inventory, and I'm going to prove it. I'm not just going to say it. So bear with me. Okay. But here's what I need everybody to understand. Think of this as like, we all have to understand the same language before we can move forward. So I'm going to try to get in here. So you guys, yeah, there we go. Everybody can see that way better now, right?
Much better.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you.
So this is the real estate cycle has 4 main stages. Okay. You got a recovery, an expansion, or a growth phase is what it's saying. A hyper supply, which means you've got too many of one things. And in our world, that would be houses. So we've got too many houses listed. That would be a hyper supply. And then you have a recession. Okay. And in here, it's talking about vacancy rates, rent increase rates, and new construction rates are some factors that determine what stage of the cycle we're in. So I want to get into this cycle. On the left column there, you have the characteristic. Next to that, you have recovery, expansion, hypersupply, and recession. We're going to get into each one of those. This is so important for you to understand. This is how you can make very well, great educated guesses about where the market is headed. Okay. You only need a few pieces of information to make a qualified decision for yourself, right? You want to get guidance from professionals. I completely understand. I am one. And I'm not just saying that so I can sell something. I'm saying that because I practice this every day. I'm looking at these numbers every day. Okay. So this is why I'm sharing this with you. All right. So if we look at the characteristic, whose market is it? Okay. So that's what we want to take note of. Whose market is it? Right now, are we in a seller's market? Are we, that would typically mean we're in a recovery phase. We could be in a recovery phase. We could be in an expansion phase and still be in a seller's market. If we're in a hyper supply, meaning we've got too many properties, now we would be in a buyer. And if we're in a recession, that's most likely going to be a buyer market. Now there's no absolutes here, but these are the likely scenarios based upon those things. Vacancy rates, meaning the homes that are, in the United States, are they occupied? Or do they have low vacancy? Okay. So if they're low, then that means we could be in a recovery phase, right? If they're low, we could be in an expansion phase. If the vacancy rate is increasing, meaning that there's more homes that are sitting empty, that could mean we're in hypersupply. And if there's high, we could be in a recession. So just keep in perspective. The new construction rate is extremely low, y'all. Okay. In the 70s, we were building about 400 and over 400. I can't remember the top of the number, but 400,000 homes a year on average in the 70s. In 2020, going into the pandemic, that was down below 100,000. And I believe it was down 50,000. I'll have to pull up the stats on that. Think about that. We have more population today than we did then. And we're building 1/5 the amount of homes. Then the math doesn't work. Okay, so just keeping that in perspective. And then I'll talk about this with our new construction. Ladies, do we have piles of new construction homes waiting for buyers to walk in the door? Or is almost all of the contracts, and again, there are some, but are almost all of the contracts signed and then they start building it?
Choice number 2.
Right? Yes. Depending on what builder you choose, some of them won't even break ground until you sign a contract. Others will start it and put the foundation, maybe the walls up, and then they sell that contract. So we're not there yet, y'all. Just sharing that with you. And then rent increases. Are they slow? Are they moderate, high? Or are they slow? Rent has been increasing every single year here. Okay. There was an article posted. I shared this on on the gram and on TikTok that said that to rent the median home here, or I'm sorry, median apartment here in Tampa Bay, you now need to make $80,000 a year because the new median rent is $1,800 a month. It was over $1,800 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay. So we're not going down on rental rates. Right now, I would say we're holding steady. There are single family home rental rates that are dropping. So keep that in mind. None of this is going to be absolute. There's going to be some blended stuff going on there. But having said all that, so to be in a recession or in a hyper supply situation where it's a buyer's market specifically, you would need the vacant homes to be empty. That's the vacancy rate, or becoming more empty. You would need moderate or high construction. Okay, we don't have that. You would need a low absorption rate. Absorption rate means how fast is something being bought. Once a home goes on the market, how quickly is it being absorbed? And we'll get into some of those numbers as well. And then also rent increases. Are they slow? Are they none? Or are they negative? Well, we continue to raise rental rates. Okay, so just keeping that in perspective. Okay. So again, we've got to pause, a 6-week pause here before the Federal Reserve is going to do anything. So if you're on the fence, this may be the right time, because if they continue to raise rates another 2 times, it's going to push us into a higher interest rate. And there are people on here who are already on the border of being able to do what they want to do. So I just want to remind you of that. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to jump in. I'm going to show you another chart, and I'm going to keep that in perspective. Okay. Here's what I want to do, because people call me every day and they're like, I see prices going down. And I always ask, where? Right? I always say, where do you see that? And they go, well, on Zillow or Redfin or whatever it is. I'm like, that's awesome. What are you looking at? And they're like, well, I could see price reductions. Yes, you can. I absolutely agree that there are price reductions. Juan is not a flat earther. Okay. Like, I agree with you that there are price reductions. There's price reductions in every market. Even when the market was stupid, and if a home had a pulse it was selling in 7 days, there were still price reductions in that market, number one. However, what I want you to take note of is what is actually happening in the marketplace right now. Because people are telling me prices are going down because they're seeing price reductions on asking price. That's not the sold price. Here's what has happened since February in the United States. Every single week, almost, prices have gone up. This is in the United States. We're not even talking about Tampa. We're up 4.6% in Tampa alone. We can break it down per city. But prices are going up. Do not let, right, what you see or Aunt Flo break your brain about what she heard or what she thinks she knows about what's happening in the marketplace. Look at the data. This is coming directly from Redfin. This is a public resource that you have access to. Okay. Zillow makes these charts too, right? So I just want to share that. But those price reductions are from people who are asking more than their home is worth in a 7% interest rate environment. Okay. And I'm just going to give perspective. If you go look at those homes that are taking price decreases, what I want you to take note of is a couple things. And I'm going to keep sharing this, but I'm going to break this down. I want you guys to take note of a few things. I want you to ask yourself, is this home in the best possible condition compared to other homes I've seen? Does it have a new roof, new air conditioner, new windows? Has it been renovated in the last 5 to 10 years? If the answer is no, that is why you're seeing that number, because buyers do not want to take on sellers' problems when the interest rates are 7%. They want to move in a home that is done. And that is why builders are doing very well right now, because they're buying down the interest rate. They're offering they're offering incentivized rates. Hey, the median interest rate right now is 7%. We've got builders right now offering a 5.5% to come buy a home with them. And they're offering $10,000 or $20,000 in incentives in cash, so you can also buy the rate down further or use that for your closing costs. Why would they do that, Juan? That's a great question. Well, most of these big builders also own mortgage companies. They also own the title company. And the only way you get that money is if you use one of those two, usually both. And the reason they're doing that is because guess what? Those mortgage companies and title companies have employees. You know how you keep them working? You subsidize, you take profit from your pocket as the builder and you subsidize your other entities. Okay. It's just like what the government does to us. It takes money that it doesn't have and that it doesn't make from you and I. Okay. So is this making sense, y'all? Ladies, I'm not going too fast here, right? So we got prices going up. So I'm going to go back to the chart now. And now I want to talk about the demand, supply and demand, right? Because like, you're like, okay, Juan, that's great. But what does that mean? Like, we got plenty, there's more houses than we need. And then you see, this is a real headline. Okay. Now I'm giving you national. I'm going to break it down to Tampa here shortly. Okay. But housing market update, there are nearly 40% fewer homes for sale than pre-pandemic. And everybody just wants the world to go back to normal, right? I do. Ladies, you want the world to go back to normal?
Yes.
Yep.
2018 was my favorite time ever to sell. And I'll share with you why. Because buyers could make a reasonable offer. Sellers would negotiate a fair offer. Both parties were happy. Real estate appreciated 4 to 5% every year. Is a really nice place to live. The last 3 years, that's Wally World. It's unbelievable. And now things are very expensive. That was not fun. Right? And we're getting back to some of that activity. Marcia was with a client. They wrote, how many offers did we have to write, Marcia, in order for her to get that accepted?
8.
8 offers, because they're a VA using a veterans assisted loan. We're proud to serve our vets, but they were in the entry level price point in St. Petersburg, which is the toughest market to work in. Right? But we got it done. Shout out to Marcia, y'all. Marcia did it. She worked through it.
A lot of help.
Yeah. But I'm showing you this. We've got high interest rates, but we've got very low supply. And the other houses that you see taking price decreases, that's not what buyers want. They want a move-in ready home that's been well taken care of because they don't want to overpay for anything in a 7% interest rate environment. So keep that in mind. If you're considering selling your home right now, you better get your pricing right. Otherwise, you're going to be taking price reductions. And once you take one, the average home takes more than one price reduction, meaning that if as soon as you take a price reduction, then the buyers say that person's willing to take less. And when they walk in the door, guess what they're going to offer you?
Less.
Okay. So keep that in perspective. All right. So we talked about the Fed potentially raising rates 2 more times in 2023, which makes your debt more expensive. Your credit card are going to go up, right? If you have any unsecured loan, right, revolving debt, it can raise. Go look at your credit cards, what you're paying on interest now. That's going to go up too. Okay, so keep that in mind. Car loans are insane right now. Car prices are insane right now. Now I want to talk about what's happening in Tampa specifically, because this is the one that I get that always kind of blows my mind a little bit. People ask, they'll ask like, and I want to show you this because I showed you a chart that said if you get into hyper supply, that means it's a buyer's market. And then people are looking at these numbers going, well, Juan, inventory's up 125% year over year. Yep, you're 100% right. Zoom in here. We need it closer. This is not going to get any closer. Oh, yes, it is. Forgive me. Okay. All right. Make it so the old folks like myself can see in the back of the room here, right? So what I want to do is I want to take note of this chart. All right. When you look at this chart here, since April of 2022, inventory has increased almost every single month until the summer selling season when it started to go down. Look at April. It went from 121% down to 66%, and now it's back up to 125%. And I know what you're saying, right? Juan, you're up 125% on inventory. You are 100% right. No one can hide that from you. You're not speaking anything that's not true. But what I want you to take a look at is I want you to look at what is quote unquote normal versus what is happening. So first and foremost, the same chart, which way is it trending?
Down.
It's trending down. So keep that in mind, number one. And then I want you to go back and look 2022, 2021, 2020. This is pandemic time, right? This is when the world started to shut down. This was actually what we considered normal. At 12,000 homes in our market here in Tampa Bay. This is Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete. This is the number that we should have on the market in a normal environment. But yet here we are at sitting roughly around 6,000 homes, half. We're half. The Redfin article said 40% less. We're half. So you don't have hyper supply. As a matter of fact, that the supply is getting tighter. Why is that happening, Juan? Great question. I'm glad you asked. Great question. I'm glad you asked. All right. Oh, and before I get, let's do that. 99% of mortgages in the United States have interest rates below 6% right now. 85% of mortgage rates in the United States have interest rates below 5% right now. 28% of mortgages in this country have interest rates below 3% right now. And 40% of all of the homes in the United States are owned free and clear. And we're in Florida. We have a lot of cash buyers. I assure you it's more than 40% here. Okay. So when you think about that, who in their right mind is going to exchange a 3% interest rate or lower for a 7% interest rate? No one. Okay. Only the people who get to or have to. Right? Because the get to people don't care. Most of them are buying in cash anyways, or they're selling something that they've invested in for a very long period of time. They're taking a tremendous amount of equity in the proceeds, and they're buying a home here and getting a very small mortgage, right? They're buying their dream. I'm not letting an interest rate stand in the way of my dream unless I have to. Okay. And then the other have to buyers, and they call this the lock-in effect, y'all. So if you go search lock-in effect, it'll walk you through this. The other have to buyers are people who are moving because of jobs, right? Death or divorce. Those are typically the other have tos. So I want to share that perspective with you. All right. Now, the other question I gave was like, well, I hear foreclosures are up. Okay. I'm hearing it. Show me. And then I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Right. right. Like, I want to show you the distressed properties. This is real information. Okay. That I'm about to share with you. Where the heck is it? Let me get the distressed. Here we go. Monthly distress market, April 2023. I know we're in June. We won't get the May numbers till the end of this month, just for perspective. But this trend has been the same for the last 3 years. We are no longer in an environment where it is illegal for a company to foreclose on you. Banks can foreclose on you now. That's not a problem. So in theory, if we were having problems with foreclosures, they should be going up, not down. Correct, ladies?
Correct.
Right. Correct.
And y'all, before I go any further, if you're getting value out of this, please let us know. I'd love to know in the chat. Don't hesitate to hit that like button. Share this with somebody who needs to understand this information as well, right? We are here to be a resource. So here is our monthly distressed market, April 2023. And I want to share the actual numbers, okay? We're not talking about how you feel or what you heard. We're talking about real information, okay? Now, here are the traditional sales on the top orange. Here are the foreclosures or real estate owned, and then the short sales underneath. So here's what I want you to take note of. Here's April of 2023. Here's April of 2022. In April of 2023, there were 18 foreclosed property sales. I want that weight to hang around for a second. 18. And oh, by the way, that's down 14% from 2022 when you couldn't foreclose on people. Okay. Let's go to short sales. For those of you who are old enough to remember what one of those are, that's when you try to sell your property for less than you owe the bank, and you try to get the bank to accept that. Well, in this environment, a bank's got to be pretty squared silly to do that, because as long as the property's in decent shape, they're going to get more money than you owe on it, most likely. You shouldn't be upside down in your mortgage unless you went and refied it a bunch of times. Well, let's talk about that. There were 5 foreclosures in April of 2023 and 6 in 2022. So that also went down. Anybody see a problem here? Where is this supply going to come from that we need to make this correction in this really high interest rate environment? Builders aren't building in hyper supply. They're waiting for buyers to come. The sellers who have 3% interest rates, 4% interest rates aren't interested in selling those properties. There's articles that literally say, over my dead body. We'll have to remove this. I saw one person say, they'll have to pry this 2.75% interest rate out of my cold dead fingers. I laughed so hard when I read that. I was like, that's great. And good for them. I understand, right? Because they don't have to. Right. So I'm just sharing this with y'all. I hope you're getting value from this. I know we're going super long. Forgive me, ladies, but I think it's so important to wrap our mind around reality. Okay. Because you need to know these numbers. Real estate is very hyper local. Where you're at, this might be going in a different direction. But here, where we operate, where we practice real estate every single day, right? You are seeing price reductions. That is absolutely true. Those are sellers who don't have the pricing correct and have not taken care of their home. The properties that are ready to go, and again, I want to show you this last piece of information, then I'll stop sharing and I'll stop moving my mouth, I promise. Because I think it's important to view. Let me pull it up really quick. Forgive me, y'all. I'm going to share this last tab with you. Here we are. This is the United States housing market. I want you just to see this. Okay. So this is the U.S. housing market. The median price point right now is around $412,000. I'm just going to use Tampa. This is the city of Tampa. It's not the Tampa Bay market, but it's perspective, right? So as we look at it, we're up 4.6% year over year. As you can see, we are trending up. I'm just going to use this year because that's all that matters. We've been up almost every single week since February. Prices have increased. We are up. The number of homes that have sold is down roughly 11%. So we're down. We had a real dip in January. Interest rates were at their peak last year in October. So that helps explain that a little bit. But the median days on market is doing what? Which direction is this trending down, ladies? It's trending down, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And the average days on market is 17. So a balanced market, y'all, meaning an equilibrium between buyers and sellers, in theory, is 180 days of inventory, meaning that 6 months worth of supply is out there. It would take the buyer 6 months to purchase everything on the market, or 17 days. At our peak in the pandemic, when everything was selling like hotcakes, we were down to about 7. We're only 10 days off our peak from people buying properties that are newly listed, because we're down almost 50% in our active inventory here, new listings. Okay. So I hope that this gave you some perspective. My goal is not to, and forgive me if I'm being strong about this. Well, I'm not apologizing for that. But I know that I can be very direct. But what I want you to know is, like, I'm passionate about this because this is what we do. We help people just like you buy, sell, and relocate and invest every single day. I'm in these numbers every day. We've got a pause in the interest rates right now. If you're considering buying, selling, relocating, or investing, this might be the right time for you. I don't know. Every scenario is different. If you're a get to or have to, those things change for you, right? If your dream is slipping away from you, y'all, how much longer can you wait? Can you wait till it gets to 8%? I don't know that it's going to go there, but we have a Federal Reserve telling us they're going to continue to raise rates. It's the world we live in. So I think now is a great time to take advantage of this pause. If you've been sitting on the sidelines, absolutely reach out to us. It's time to re-engage. There are strategies out there. We can help buy down the interest rate. I was saying that earlier, right? Say the interest rate is 7%. Did you know that you can buy down your interest rate points? You can do that. Or if we go target properties that have been sitting on the market for too long because sellers missed on the pricing, that's a great opportunity to go negotiate seller concessions where they actually contribute to your closing costs. We can take that contribution and drive down your interest rate. We did a scenario today, $500,000 purchase point. We bought down 1%. We bought down 2%, which is roughly 2% of the loan amount. So $10,000 in concessions, and it meant $288 less on that monthly mortgage payment versus taking a $20,000 price reduction, which would have only equated to about $120. So you netted almost $160 on the swing. Hopefully my math is correct on that. But think about it, because values are still holding up, right? So this is a way you can win in this market, driving down the interest rate. New construction, we've got builders that are offering great incentives. If you take that and you buy down the interest rate, you can get down into those low fives, even high fours, if they're offering really good rates. And they change this stuff all the time, but we're seeing it. So reach out to us, reach out to our team. If you need a referral back where you live, do not hesitate to reach out to us as well. I'd be happy to jump on an interview call with you, right? If you don't know how to interview an agent, we'd be happy to do that for you as well. My hope and my prayer is that you got tremendous value out of this. If you did, please hit that like button. Share this with somebody who needs to hear this information. Ladies, thank you as always for your time, your energy, and your research and sharing this with the community. Stacy, do you have any last words before we bug out of here tonight?
Just thanks for coming tonight. It was fun, and I really enjoy learning more about Pasco County. I'm always surprised. Every week I learn something new.
Absolutely, Stacy. Forgive me for speaking over you. And Marcia, what about you? Thank you. Any last words?
I enjoy what we're doing every week too. Not only the research, but us getting together on Tuesday nights and spending time together, sharing. It's nice for me to get information on Pasco County because, as you know, sometimes we go into each other's areas. It's great to have the knowledge, and I like that we're sharing it with our clients and people that are interested in the area. So thank you for including me. Absolutely. Yeah, maybe we should go to Wednesdays and wind down Wednesdays, right? It would just be super cute. I love it. And yeah, again, thank you for your
your time invested in this channel. We're grateful that we have an audience to serve. We have been tremendously blessed. Right now, we're in the process of serving 15 families from all over North America who are relocating or selling here locally as well. And that is a tremendous blessing. I cannot say enough how grateful I am to you all for trusting us and the team here. These ladies are incredible real estate professionals. They make me look way better than I am. And I am internally grateful to this. My family's grateful. Ladies, thank you so much. Viewers, thank you so much. We appreciate the comments, the questions. Keep them coming. We're here to serve. Like I said, we won't be here on the 4th of July. We will be celebrating Independence Day with our families, but we will see you next week. Go out, have an incredible week, and don't forget to go out and live that Tampa life. We'll see y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Later.